What's up, guys? Welcome to the Granger Smith Podcast, episode 33. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. I'm grateful for this platform to be able to speak my mind, exercise the First Amendment right that I have here in America. And this is the first podcast in my new office. I'm at Yee Yee Farm in the headquarters of Yee Yee Apparel. I created this this space so that we could do these podcasts, and we could do. Me and the band have talked about doing some live streaming in here, playing some music. So, and that's an interesting thing we should talk about is that be looking on my social media coming up. Be looking for us to be putting out 1 or 2 or 3 live streams a week. We're going to do different sets. So comment below on this video with your set list request with songs you want us to play it. It doesn't matter how old the song is of mine or how new the song is of mine. We would love to be able to read through that. And we're going to put together these set lists for you guys. And I wish we could get to your city. I wish we could get to you right now. It's killing me to not be on the road, and this is the next best thing we could do is play these songs on a live stream. And I wanted to be able to scratch that itch somehow. The second thing we need to talk about is Yee Yee Apparel summer launch, June the 12th. So this is really important. The reason I'm going to push this now is because the last several launches we've had have sold out really early. And when I say early, we launch at 10 a.m., which we will on June 12th. We're going to launch at 10 a.m., and we have sold out in minutes of some of the more popular items. And so we are making more orders, and we're increasing our inventory a little bit on these. But the balance is that we want to be able to sell out quickly, to push that product quick, and then it gives us a good idea of what to reorder, et cetera, et cetera. All being said, and that none of that matters to you. What does matter is 10 a.m., June 12th, yeeyee.com or yeeyeeapparel.com. Make sure you go and check it out and be ready to get this new stuff. It's really good. I've been working my butt off this week, doing videos and taking pictures and working with Parker and Tyler and Paul and Brian and Ant-Man and all these photographers and videographers that have come in and really helped us to create what we are really proud of in the summer launch. So be looking for that. How are you guys doing? How's the state of the world? I know that we've now entered a time of the world where there's pockets of people that are doing pretty normal, pretty great. There's pockets of people that are really locked down, and it's amazing. You just cross a couple of state lines or a few international borders, and you're in a completely different place as far as this shutdown is concerned. So, how you doing? Comment below. Let me know. Let me know your pulse. Us here in Texas, we feel very lucky. We feel very blessed to continue to have low numbers and to also be opening up faster and faster, and we're seeing good results, and it feels very normal. Touring, and as a touring musician, will probably be one of the last ones, but to go back to work, which is why we're doing this live stream. And so we set up also this Venmo account at Granger Smith so that we could hopefully get some tips for the band during that. It's like passing around the virtual pickle jar. Back in the old days of playing bars every night, we would pass around a pickle jar that said band tips on it. So we'll be doing that virtually. We've resorted to that these days with zero touring. All that being said, a lot of exciting things coming soon. Be watching the socials for the live stream and be watching yeeyee.com for the summer launch. Today's guest, my brother, Tyler Smith, my middle brother. Last week we had Parker, the youngest brother. This week, Tyler. And Tyler is a fascinating dude. And so I ran over my time on my interview with him today. And so I apologize. It's going to cut off a little abruptly, but he is such a fascinating dude. He just will spit out these little moments of like genius wisdom. They just come out, and you'll hear him say it in a minute. And it always shocks me. And me and him, we butt heads a lot because I'm he's very directive and passionate, and I'm very loose and creative. And so it works really well in business, but at the same time, sometimes it clashes. And we'll get into that a little bit. You'll get to know Tyler a little bit, but we're also going to have to continue this interview and do another one. I don't know if it'll be next week, but we'll do a follow-up one so you could hear more about him, because we got to talking on this one. So I think you're going to like it. You're in for a treat. I'm not just saying that because he's my brother, but he's literally one of the most interesting people you'll ever meet. And so is Parker. I'm very proud of both of them. Without further ado, welcome to the podcast. Here's my guest. Okay, we were walking down the hall to bring you in here, and you're like, what are we talking about? And I admittedly said that I don't have a plan, and that kind of scared you. You're like, well, you sure you want to do something you sure you don't want to think about it? But usually on this podcast, that's just what I do. Okay. Don't plan anything. And you are one of the most, if not the most interesting humans I know.
In what way?
And I feel like I do know a lot of humans, just from traveling with touring and where music has taken us across the world. We've met some interesting people, presidents of the United States, foreign ambassadors, crazy rock stars. You were one of the most interesting people I know.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. And that's why I wanted you on this podcast. Last week we did Parker, and so we didn't have a plan with Parker either. We just...
What'd y'all talk about? I didn't listen to it yet.
You didn't listen to it? No. Did you not really?
No.
It's good. We talked about basically his role here at Yee Apparel, and how we brought me and you, stole him away from another kind of career he would have had in real estate from A&M, and then
now he's the CEO.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a quick rise.
Yeah. I also talked about how I still miss that little boy that Parker was, since there's 13 years difference between me and him and 10 years difference between you and him, and how mom and dad took us to Fuddruckers and told us that they were pregnant. And then we talked through his role here and how we've kind of changed the business plan. And so with you, just off the top of my head, I guess we can go and talk about us growing up as brothers. A lot of people in the comments to Parker's were like, put Tyler on there, which is understandable. And so from where we sit right here, Tyler's office is on the other wall, on the other side of this wall, and Parker is over here. So I think it's a huge blessing that we get to work together. Three brothers. It's not always easy. Me and you have a lot harder of a time than you and Parker, or me and Parker. And that's partly because Parker's so passive.
You know what I just realized? And I don't know if I'm should tell this in front of everybody. You can edit it if not. But
I don't edit these, by the way.
You know what I realized today was exactly what you're saying. For whatever reason, our personalities, like, we obviously do really well together, but sometimes we have some minor issues, brother stuff, right? But both of our relationships are different with me and you and me and Parker.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I'm getting to is, in my head today, I was like, because London lately, she has little tendencies of things that you do, and I find myself thinking to myself like trying to get back at her a little bit. Like we kind of we don't bicker, but you know what I mean? Like it's the same stuff you and me do, and you and me go at each other. Obviously, I don't go after London, but then Lincoln and Parker. I have the same relationship with Lincoln and Parker. Parker's, like you said, 10 years younger than me, so he was a little baby when we were kids. So there's still that little... And so same with Lincoln. But with you and London are similar in that way. It's weird. Because London is so strong-willed and so independent.
She's very passionate.
Her way or no way, and I'm kind of the same way.
And a lot of times her way is also wrong.
Yeah.
which is similar to me. You know, I get very passionate about a certain way, and
But she'll never admit that she's wrong.
what are you trying to say? Well, so that's part of our story is that, you know, here we are, the brother crew, the three brothers, but you and I go back much longer than Parker has been with Yee Yee, even though Parker was there the day Yee Yee was said as Earl. And it is, it needs to be said that me and you go back way before Parker. We go back to 2008?
Well,
These mics are really directional.
so get closer.
Yeah.
Like officially, but I remember being at Rice, and I used to go to this spot on campus where nobody else was. I don't know what, it was just one random building, and I'd go down
In
like
Houston.
in the Rice University in Houston. You know, I graduated in 2007 May, so I would go down to that basement and book shows. Specifically, remember booking shows. I still got that green book. So it was before 2008. It wasn't full time until 2007. I graduated and I went and worked at a bank, which I hated. I committed to it though. So morally, I wanted to give them a year. You know, do what I could. And so anyway, that was like literally to the day that I started. Let's just say summer 2007, quit summer 2008, and then was full time like everything then.
And basically, what you usually say is you were mad that nothing was happening. I was putting out these records, and no one was going to the shows, and I wasn't getting any more shows, and no one was really hearing the music. And you were mad. I was with a big management company out of Nashville, and I was living in College Station, Texas. So I was their only act that was in Texas. I was their only act that was in a small town, really, in Texas, doing the van and trailer touring. And so understandably, I was forgotten. And I didn't think about it that much as you did. It really bothered you. And so I remember you getting so mad while you were working at that bank that I wasn't getting shows booked, et cetera, et cetera. And so you said, screw it. I could book 100 times the shows that you're getting. And so the first year that you came on, was it 2008 when you first came on and we started playing all those shows?
Yeah.
We were playing like Wednesday through Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the crappiest shows.
Yeah.
So you came through, you delivered on your promise. And so you really didn't start as manager. You didn't say, I want to manage you. You said, I want to book you. So that's how you started.
Well, I did love booking. I really did. I had a passion for it. I loved working numbers. I guess I was fresh out of school, econ, I guess. I didn't like econ, but I just loved entrepreneurship and building brands and success and money and numbers. So we started booking, but those shows, I remember there was always just so many secrets and tricks. Not really tricks, but it was always about just being a good person and being honest and booking these shows and telling the promoters, if I could ever get them on the phone, that's a whole nother topic, but telling the promoters, look, I'm not guaranteeing that we're going to sell your place out, but we're going to put on a good show and we'll only take, X amount of the door, $5 ticket price. They're basically telling them, to the people that are watching, that there's going to be no risk on your end. We're not going to ask for a high money guarantee and all that stuff. So anyway, like you said, we go do those shows and like nobody would be there.
Nobody. Like when we say nobody would be there, we don't mean there was 100 people there. It was just a waitress.
So my job never ended. And my job at that point was to buddy up with the owner that I called and booked that show with and talk to him in his office for about whatever he wanted to talk about. And just be a chameleon and win his trust and be his friend, get his number, text him and say, and so basically what I'm getting at is we built that trust and that friendship where when I called this guy back and said, hey, can we get another date? First of all, I would try to get a date in that office as we were closing out. And a lot of times that was a big trick and a ticket. Like we leave and we got another date, but I would call him back and he'd say, "Hey, Tyler, man, look, you're awesome. I love you. I love your brother. You guys got a great band, but we lost money last time. Nobody came. But I like you and your brother. We'll give you another date." So that was kind of the trick. And then we just slowly built it that way.
We got into a lot of places that we shouldn't have gotten into a lot earlier because of that. And we should say one of you call it tricks. One of the techniques you used was on email on the subject line.
Yeah.
Should I even say it on this podcast? It's such a Tyler Smith technique.
Bring it.
So
we still need to get in there.
So there needs to be many podcasts with Tyler. And so this is hopefully be the first of many because there's so many stories. And if you're a beginning artist or a beginning musician, you could learn a lot from Tyler and the path that we took. In one way you could look at it is you do not need to go get you a big Nashville manager or LA manager. Or
you just need somebody that believes in you with everything.
Yeah. And nothing is going to get done.
Though.
Nothing is going to get done unless you do it. That is the bottom line. And so one technique Tyler used when these people, he would email them and say, "Hey, my name is Tyler Smith. I book a band, Granger Smith." And we would actually try not to play up the brother thing too much because we didn't want to sound too homegrown. So he would email and make the pitch and then not hear anything, and then not hear anything, and then not hear anything. So the technique Tyler would use is, we'll say Bob at Silver Creek Saloon, whatever. I'm just making names up. He'd say, the subject line of the email would say, "No longer working at Silver Creek Saloon?" ? And then the body of the email would say, "Hey, Bob, heard a rumor you're not with Silver Creek."
I'm just gonna say it. It was Don. Don started Buc-ee's for all of you guys that know Buc-ee's. Absolutely love that place. It's a gas station in the South. We live in Texas. They're everywhere, and amazing food, clean restrooms. Like they're just top notch. And so they're also very supportive of regional artists, musicians, that sort of thing. So we had like T-shirts already in their stores. And then we came out with our energy drink, E Energy. And so we were just calling everybody we could to try to get it in there. We already had our stuff in Buc-ee's. And so a mutual friend of ours, somebody that runs our website, knew the owner, hooked me up with their email, connected us on an email, I should say. And he never responded to the email. It was,
He's one of many, though.
Yeah.
Don's one of many.
Oh, yeah. We just still joke about this.
That was just a big example. But the key thing to this whole thing is if no one's replying to you, if you put in the subject line, "Bob, no longer working at Silver Saloon?"
I emailed Don two times, 3 times, nothing. I was like, screw it. So I was pissed, and I said, "Are you no longer working there?" Like in the subject, Don, no longer CEO of Buc-ee's or owner of Buc-ee's. Did you get fired? Like I was like jabbing at him, and I knew he was going to respond. And sure enough, literally, like after weeks of no returned emails, literally 5 minutes after I sent that email, he sent back a reply, really pissed and short.
Yeah.
Like something like, "Yeah, what are you talking about? Who told you that?" And I was like, hey, Don, now that I got your attention, thanks for the response. We got E Energy. We're looking to put it in your store.
That is playing to someone's ego. They cannot stand to let an email go by that says that there's a rumor that they're not working at the company that they're actually the CEO or the bar owner for or the booker for. And so Tyler's been doing that trick for 12 years or maybe more to these small town bar owners. We had so many problems. Like sometimes, I remember one specifically was at Brownwood, Texas. You would get the show booked, and this is, once again, no one knew who we were, so Tyler's just going on merit with these guys.
Tequila place?
Yeah. So we were booking it based on, hey, I know they're not going to draw anybody to your club, but the people you do have there will love this band, and they'll want to come back. And that was our goal. Get them one at a time where the people that were there would start to be fans. And so you would do it on merit, and then we would send them a contract. But then they hardly ever would sign it and send it back. They would prefer we just showed up. And so this happened a few times, one specifically, Tequila something in Brownwood, Texas. We showed up, and that guy that booked it with you had been fired.
And they didn't know we were coming.
And then no one knew we were coming.
They were all locked.
And so here we go on a Friday night with the van and trailer and all the band. Who's going to get, I was paying them like $100 a night.
Nobody was there.
And no one was there. And that was just one of those days where, were you with us? Or was I calling? I was
selling merch.
Yeah, you were selling merch. So we've come a long way. And that's why these conversations are so interesting, especially if you're a beginning musician, you're listening to this podcast, or you're thinking about it. I can't stress enough that, first of all, you don't have to leave your little hometown. You don't have to move to a big music city. You don't have to sign a big record label or big management or big booking agency. You could do it with you and your brother. Now you got to be passionate about it, and you got to work smart.
Or you can do it yourself as long as you can.
Yourself. Because I did it all the way.
Hopefully find somebody that.
Yeah. So then, fast forward, things start going good. We get to a place.
You fast forwarded through a lot.
Well, I'm fast forward.
Before it started getting good.
No, we had a lot of bad days. We had some moments, like me and you had some heated moments in empty parking lots. And a lot of the frustration with no one coming to the shows and no one listening to the music that we were so passionate about. We worked so hard on building something. And when you would continually hit your head with a hammer every Friday night, especially when we would build something a little bit, like say we would have 100 people at a place. And Commerce, Texas, Thirsty Mule, whatever. Drunken Mule. We would build something and we'd have 112 people at Drunken Mule, Commerce, Texas on a Friday night. And we'd think, dadgum, we're kind of working here. This town's really coming around. And then we'd play there again a year later and there'd be 84 people. We're like, whoa, we're going down. And so you remember the time you were selling merch in Commerce? Mm. And you looked up on the railing and you had put a sticker? Mm-hmm. That Granger Smith sticker on the railing.
It was the Don't Listen to the Radio, that white one.
And you realized that we had been playing the same place for years and nothing had changed. The numbers hadn't gone up. In fact, maybe they had gone down. And you lost your mind about that. And another time happened to me in Nacogdoches, or Tyler, Texas. Tyler, Texas, Electric something. All these names,
no, it was we played it twice, one with Robert O'Keen and like Josh Abbott, and then once or twice by you. We always played the Electric Cowboy. That was
and anyway,
the other
no
place.
One came, and I was in the parking lot, and I remember that was one of my bigger breakdowns in the music business. I asked the band, "How's it look?" And they're like, "Well, no one's in there." And years of work, and I just remember throwing suitcases outside in the parking lot. I was chunking them out of the trailer, and I just decided to just go for a walk and just leave. Mm. And I thought I had disappeared, and you found me at a storage unit lot, hiding in between the storage units, just curled up in a little ball. And you somehow, I don't know how you tracked me there, but I was literally going to sit in that storage unit in the dark and just let the time of our set list go until they closed and just not show up.
I think part of it was getting you for the show. Part of it was I think I said something that I probably regretted.
Yeah, I don't know.
About nobody being there and blaming whatever. But
so let's fast forward a bit. Let's fast forward from there like 3 years to like 2012, 13. And all of a sudden it switched. You went from an outgoing email, outgoing phone call
guy. We're talking
guy.
about bad things, but those times were fun. Great band. Yeah. Like we're all road buddies.
Yeah. So anyway. You went from outgoing email, outgoing phone call guy to incoming email, incoming phone call guy over the course of from 2012 to 2016. During that whole period.
I wouldn't say incoming. I would just say they would respond 50% of the time instead of 0.
So then we left Texas, and then you started from scratch when we left Texas, and then you were booking places that we'd never even been to, states we hadn't even traveled to, like Portland, Oregon. You're calling Portland, Oregon, and you're saying, "Hey, John, my name's Tyler Smith. I'm trying to book my band there.
Tractor Tavern in Seattle, man.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do it, and I was doing the same thing. And after that show, we sold it out. He sent me an email. I said, dude, I'm sorry. I'll eat my words or eat crow or whatever.
He said, I've never in my entire career, I've never been wrong about a band. I've always had an idea. But so you were calling them, and we're calling these rock clubs because that's the only average size venue we can get into. We'd call a rock club in Seattle,
Dante's
Washington.
in Portland.
Dante's in Portland, Oregon. And they would be like, never heard of you. Like, well, we're from Texas, and we've never been there. We've never played there. They're like, what are your numbers? Well, we've never had numbers there, but we sell a lot of T-shirts there. You know, like we send T-shirts there, and we feel like if you give us a shot, I think people would come. And he's like, well, didn't they just end up saying, well, I'll give you a Monday, and you could just take the $5. We'll charge $5 at the door, and you could just keep all that.
Yeah, they would give us their worst night. And so it was no risk on their end, and it was, we were ready to go, do whatever we could to get people in there.
Yeah. So there's like 5-year clumps that we've gone through where every 5 years your role changes, evolves, but you're learning something from the previous clump of years that you apply to the new clump of years that has new challenges.
Yeah,
and it's never gotten easier or better or worse.
It's pick your problems. It's pick your problems and not choose bigger problems. Like the bigger problems, the better. Because ultimately, the amount of effort that you spend on them and brain power and all that stuff is the same. It's just the risk and reward is a lot better.
Yeah.
Let's go play this arena with this artist, or do you want to go, what we're talking about right now?
Yeah. So from then on, most of these people watching or listening, if you're a fan or if you follow this podcast, most of you know the story from 2015 on. And the years before that were vague because not many people were following us. And so we'll talk a lot about that. And I think that'll be a good podcast on our transition to major record label world and how your role went from basically tour manager, booking agent, merch seller to manager, which is very different. Manager now, you don't overlook road merch as much. You don't book shows. You just approve them when they come through. You don't deal with tour management at all. Like you don't care when lunch is for the band.
And a lot of that has to do with having amazing team members and trusting Chris, our tour manager, who I believe is the best in the business. And I don't need to because he's the best. Braden, our booking agent, I trust everything he brings our way. And so half the time I say, dude, he'll ask me, what do you want to do? I said, I trust you, whatever you think.
So if there was ever
it's a great team.
If there was such a true blessing in everything besides fans, it would be having a loyal team.
Yeah, dude, this doesn't happen without a team. You know that. Yeah. Our label team, our publicity team, our road team, everybody, top to bottom. And
it's even a whole new level now with this virus that those guys are all the guys you just named, Braden, Chris, the band, everyone is still loyal through these uncertain times. And so that's where my first job when this hit and we stopped touring was take care of the guys that have taken care of us. But all that being said, and I want this probably to be another podcast, and I want to kind of dive into that. But right now, I started this by saying you're one of the most interesting guys that I know. And so let's talk about you and outside of music, outside of manager, outside of Yee Apparel, outside of Earl Dibbles. Let's talk about you as a person, starting with your desire to strive for greatness as a person, which then filters into business, but it starts with you as a person. So let's start with like your morning routine, where that came from, how long you've been doing it, why you do it, why it bled into me and Amber and Parker and Mom and many other people that have followed your lead.
Well, I have a very obsessive personality. I think it's all or nothing with me, Yeah. For instance, I'm not going to drink one beer. If I'm going to drink, I'm probably just going to get really drunk. But I don't. At the same time, I'm going through a thing right now where I haven't drank in 90 days. But it started with.
Hang on, that sounded like you're an alcoholic of some sort, but you're not. You're just proving a point that when you do something, you do it to the fullest, whatever that is.
It's all a mental thing with me. It's all a mindset to see how I can push myself. But it started honestly with. It's always been like inside me, but Parker is the one that brought it out of me when I was living with him, and I would wake up at 8:30, 9:30, whatever it was. Look out the window and his car would be gone. I'd be like, damn it. Like he's already gone. Like he won. He like very competitive, right? He's winning the day already ahead of me. He's out there doing something productive and I've been sleeping. And so somehow we eventually started talking and he showed me a book called The Miracle Morning that started it all for me. And so he showed me, like I said, let me see your notes. Like he was writing his notes, like he was having his little time in the morning by himself, and then he would leave, and I was sleeping during that time. And so, luckily, man, I just fell in love with it, and it's a huge passion of mine. And basically, long story short, it's about waking up in the morning early, not hitting your alarm. It's about so many things. I don't even know where to start, but it's about controlling your day. It's about not reacting. One of the biggest things I could tell anybody watching right now that's super simple. There's so many layers of this, but the easiest and one of the first things I started doing was don't sleep with your phone by your nightstand. Put it in a different room. If you can, I put it on the other side of the room. But so many years I would wake up, even in the middle of the night, if you kind of wake up, you just check your phone. But so many of us, probably all of us, wake up and check our phone, and immediately we got emails, we got texts, we got missed calls. So you're reacting to the day. You're immediately reacting to other people's problems. So the whole premise is you have to control your day, and you start off by protecting yourself, protecting the asset, which I like to call it, which is yourself, and put your phone away and don't look at it for at least 30 minutes after waking up. I don't look at mine typically until an hour and a half or 2 hours after I wake up.
And what time do you wake up?
5.
7 days a week?
Last night, no, because we were shooting until midnight.
Yeah.
But I get 8 hours, man. And everybody says, there's kind of this weird stigma and this pride of like, I can go on 4 and 5 hours. But man, I read and I study and research a lot on this stuff. I'm by no means an expert, but I know me, and I'm like, I get my 8 hours. It's like so important to get your sleep. If you don't get your sleep, then,
what time do you go to bed?
If I get up at 5, I'm in bed at 8 and I read, and then it's lights out by 9.
But right there, does anyone know anybody that goes to bed at 8 that's not a little kid? So there, you're one of the most interesting schedule keepers.
It's a blessing and a curse. I'm very regimented, and that's why I asked you. It's like, what are we talking about? Like, I need to know a schedule. Like my day is planned every hour. Like 5 o'clock till I go to bed. I have a schedule, and I've been struggling honestly lately with if I get out of that routine, I struggle, and my mind kind of starts doing its thing, and so I'm trying to get better in that. But anyway, meditation, I do that first thing in the morning.
And how long since you've been getting up? How long have you been getting up at 5 a.m.?
Going on almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Well, it started at like with Parker thing. It started at like if I was getting up at 8:30, I recommend everybody start like 15 minutes earlier, 30 minutes earlier. So it started 8 o'clock, 7:30, and it ended up at 5. And lately, I've been like, man, I'm going to try to do 4:30.
And it's important for everyone to know that you're not like an early riser by nature.
No.
You're a sleeper, man. You're like
my whole life.
Sleep till noon kind of guy. So that's what's so different about it. That's what shows the mental discipline and power is because you're not naturally just an early riser.
A phrase that I really like is do hard things, have an easy life, or do easy things and have a hard life.
Ooh, that's good.
I love doing hard things. So like waking up is hard for me. Waking up, everybody's guilty. You hit the snooze. How many times you hit it? And immediately when you're hitting the snooze, you're lying to yourself. If you made a promise to yourself, why'd you set an alarm if you didn't intend on getting up at that time? So when you set an alarm for 5, like if you snooze, you're starting your day off by lying to yourself. And I'm big on keeping the promises you make to yourself. And so it's so, man, it's like Christmas morning. It's so weird, the feeling I get when my alarm goes off. Boom, I'm up. Like there's nothing in my mind that wants to sleep because I've calloused my mind in a way, and immediately start by being grateful and, saying, thank you, God, for this day. Like, and I have like all these affirmations in my shower. So I go meditate. I do cold showers every day that I'm obsessed with. And it's hard things that like you psych yourself up for, but
you have so much info, and we're running out of time on here.
Crazy.
We're running out of time, so I want to do this again. I want to continue this, but more from Tyler on the next podcast. Love you guys, and you'll hear about this interesting dude a lot more. See you guys.
See ya.